Good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing today? October 19, 2021 on a Tuesday. We're going to take a look at the markets. There's been a lot of big moves, And we got some really nice trade signals setting up. So that is also looking pretty good. So welcome. Thanks for coming. And so I don't know if you've been taking a look at the Twitter posts that we've been making, but some big move here took place with Euro. And so we forecasted that all the way from the lows. You guys didn't get a chance to see. All the way from the lows down here. Bloop, and just as we had suspected. Now, how is it? How is it that we do that all the time? How is it? Well, you guys should join the school. If you aren't members, you should join the school. We just started a new level 1 class. And soon we're going to be doing a level 2. Man, the level 2 class is going to be really, really neat. So what we're going to be doing in the level 2 class is we're going to be taking a look at the previous chart homework that we used to do, that we did last year for USCAD, okay? Now, the USCAD, there's a certain portion of the chart that we've already completed, all right? We did it last year. But this time, we're going to review it with different eyes, because since last year, we've learned a lot, okay? Since last year, just in a year, we've learned a lot. So since last year, we've learned a heck of a lot, and I want to apply everything that we've learned to the charts, okay? We've learned a lot of things about trend lines. We learned a lot of things about how to locate zones. So I want to apply all the things that we have learned over the last year to the homework that we did last year, okay? So we'll be re-examining the supply and demand that we drew. We'll be re-examining the trend lines, and we'll discuss them. What is it that we learned over the last year about trend lines? How is it that we learned those things? And what's the new outcome from the new rules, the concepts and principles that we now understand about trend lines, zones, the creation of zones, proper consolidation away? What is it that we now know about those things that give us a different outcome? So we're going to be examining what the outcome was from the work that we did last year. And we're going to compare it to what the new outcome is going to be based on what we now know to be true about the market. So that is going to be really quite eye-opening, I think. Okay, so looking forward to doing that. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets and see what's going on here. So we have the euro pulling up, as you can see. Okay, it's rallying up. Why is it rallying? Well, we know why. Because on the higher time frames, we just had a very significant thing happen over the last couple weeks, all right, or for the last few weeks. So we had the institutions breaking through an institutional area of demand, okay, and that opens up the floodgates for a move lower. Now, we've talked about this for quite some time, right? So there's supply that comes into the market, and there's demand. Demand pushes price up, supply pushes price down. But there are limits to how much price can be pushed up and down because of the supply. So in order for demand to be able to push past those limits, it needs to overrun the supply, all right? And so we had that situation with the euro, okay? The situation was, out of the two, supply came in and was more powerful than demand. Okay, so we now have supply coming into the markets, and we now have institutional supply being formed on the charts. And if you take a look at the latest CFTC report, you'll see that all the data is there to back up what we're saying, okay? Everything that we're finding is backed up by the CFTC data, okay? So they created supply, but when they do, they usually retrace price back up to areas of supply before they continue price downwards. And that is why we were expecting this move to the upside. And so far, it is playing out quite nicely, okay? Same thing with the dollar. And members know that we've been expecting this push to the downside like this, okay? There's only so much it's going to go up before it turns back down. Now, I will do something here. I'll bring my little tool and I'm going to do a measurement here. And I just want you to see that we have an area of demand, and I want you to see this right here, okay? This is an important thing, because as you can see, this area of demand is not as high quality as we would want, all right? So with that being said, we're going to have to be careful with what our expectations are with price hitting this area, okay? I do suspect something is going to happen, and I will be laying it all out in the school forum. But I just want you to be careful with that, okay? Just be watchful of that and understand the risks involved in that. Oil, beautiful trade, beautiful trade. Okay, we spoke about this and laid it out before it even took place. All right, now I posted in our Telegram channel, all right, about this situation here. I said this is going to break and then the momentum is going to shift to the upside. I basically laid out all the details, all right, and so that's what happened. We had the break of the trend line here, and look what's happened ever since. Okay, is that not a good long trade right there from here to here? Okay, so as I mentioned to members, that if they were in that trade, they should have gotten out around up here. That was a signal to exit oil long. Okay, we had the signal right there to exit. It could have went higher, but it didn't want to, and now it's shifting, and we understand why it's not, because when we take a look at the USCAD, you can see very clearly why oil is now reacting like this. Okay, so we got to be careful with oil now, because when we examine the trends, and I posted about this in the school forum, when we examine the trends that we have currently in play, there's nothing very strong to support a continued move at this point if price was to retrace, all right, with strong momentum. If price was to retrace with strong momentum, there wouldn't be much here to keep price from falling, all right? So just be aware of that moving forward. So gold has been doing nothing still, okay, which is why I wouldn't be trading it. And I pointed out this institutional area of supply here. I told everybody, be careful with this, because price was rallying up and there was a lot of talk online about the strength of the of gold and how this could likely just continue going higher. I said I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be thinking along those terms or along those lines, because we have an institutional area of supply that is coming into play, and that could push price down. So be careful with long positions if that were the case, all right? Because it's going to go drastically against you. So that's the case. There's no momentum here. There's nothing to trade here. So I'm not looking at gold. We have our signals that we're waiting for. But until those signals pop up, there's nothing to trade here. Okay? Plain and simple. US dollar, Japanese yen. This is a nice one. I like the move on this one. It's cleared some major obstacles that we were watching for, and without these obstacles being there, it's going to open up the chart for a big move to the upside. Okay, so this one's got great potential for the rest of the year. I'm watching this one. I'm also watching the yen pairs, because they're also going to make really good trade signals. All right, we've already had trade signals on some of the yen pairs. They've done extremely well. Now we're waiting for the new signals to be presented. So I want you to keep your eye on the yen pairs for more upside in the coming months. All right. I think this one will do very well. And Euro yen's already made its move. Soon some signals. Pound yen has also made a move. Soon some signals. CAD yen is the one that I'm excited about. Okay. CAD yen is the one that I'm excited about. Really excited. Okay. Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, as some of you may know, we have a special guest coming tomorrow, 9 a.m. Okay, so if you haven't registered, make sure you do. All right, all you have to do is come to our website and www.whiteoakfx.com and click on here. Click there and register. Okay, this is going to be very informative. I got an investor friend of mine who is heavily into Bitcoin and extremely knowledgeable about Bitcoin. He's going to give you just your average man's look on Bitcoin, okay? He's got nothing to sell. He's not selling Bitcoin. He's not a broker. He's not a dealer. He's just a person who spent a lot of time researching Bitcoin, and he knows a lot of stuff. And he's not going to be afraid to share with you things that, other people probably would want to keep from you. All right, so he's very intelligent, knows his stuff, and he's coming on tomorrow, 9 a.m. So make sure you participate in that, okay? But Bitcoin's looking pretty good, all right? Bitcoin's looking pretty good. And as I mentioned, I'm tracking Bitcoin because, from everything that I was studying, it looked like this could potentially be something very legitimate, all right? But I wanted to keep track of the supply and demand dynamics of how it plays out, because if something is not predictable, I don't want to trade it. If it is predictable, then I do want to trade it, all right? And so remember, when price was up here, I said I'm expecting a drop down to here, and then when it gets down here, I would be a buyer and my target would be here, okay? That's as far as I could predict with Bitcoin, all right? And the fact that it dropped exactly to where I wanted it to drop to, and the fact that it accumulated exactly where I said I would be buying it, and the fact that it rallied up exactly to our target, and then the banks started taking profits as well, I mean, that goes to show you that so the supply and demand dynamics are pretty accurate, okay? They are price is playing out as expected. So this makes Bitcoin predictable in my eyes, all right? So now I am interested. Now I am interested in getting myself involved in actually buying real Bitcoin, because I can time the drops into areas of institutional demand, okay? So obviously I don't want to buy when price is high. I'll only buy after drops into areas of demand, and buy it at low prices, just like the big investors do, okay? So I'm interested. I'm interested because we're at 62K, but there's no stopping price from going to 100K. All right? There really isn't. When you look at what's transpired in the past, and you look at these moves, okay? And you look at these moves, I mean, what's to stop that? I don't believe there's anything to stop that. Okay, and the more I learn about Bitcoin and its potential use and its potential amazing security, I mean, I hear a lot of talk about the security of it and so forth. And again, we're going to go into more in depth on this tomorrow at 9 a.m. But it looks like there's a great potential for Bitcoin. Okay, I'm still a little bit cautious about it. That's why I'm in the learning phase. I want to learn as much as I can about it. I want to understand, why is it so good? How is it that, governments just are not going to be able to come in, or the central banks are not going to be able to come in and just hijack Bitcoin and make it their own? We'll see. Okay, so we'll get informed tomorrow. We'll see what my friend has to say, and we'll continue to gather information about this. But if it's as legitimate as many people are claiming, okay, this could be quite amazing. All right, this could be quite amazing. So I want to pay attention to this, and start keeping a close eye on it. All right, so we are 15 minutes in. We basically covered the majority of the things I want to cover in terms of the Forex markets, but I also wanted to take a look at the other markets, okay? Because when we talk about supply and demand and the dynamics of it, okay, what we're always referring to is the predictability of the charts, okay? So let me just open up something here, because I don't want to trade something unless it's predictable, okay? That's just my rule. If it's not predictable, I don't want to trade it. It's got to be predictable. It's got to be something that I can time my entries with incredible accuracy. All right, that's got to be accurate. If it's not, if my analysis can't be accurate, then I don't want to trade it. Then it's not for me. All right, And what I am seeing with the markets is that it is extremely accurate. Okay. Now, sometimes you get stocks that have big gap ups and gap downs, and it makes it more difficult to read. But overall, the dynamics are playing out quite well. I mean, we talked about the S&P, right? And last week we had the S&P down over here at this mark here, right? The 4,400 area. And what we were seeing was, with this dynamic that was in play, what I was seeing was the potential, strong potential for price to continue up, break through this institutional area of supply, and continue higher, right? This is what we were talking about, because what the chart was showing us was that. And so now we're looking at the chart, and what do we see? That is exactly what is taking place, okay? And remember the chart that we were looking at? I think it was Tesla. Well, there you go, okay? Tesla was down here somewhere. I can't remember where it was, somewhere around here or maybe up here, can't remember. And I said Tesla's very high in comparison to the same location of the other stocks that we were taking a look at, all right? And with the fact that the S&P is just about to break higher, you know, it's telling me that momentum is to the upside in terms of the institutions buying, okay? And if the institutions are buying the S&P, they're going to be buying Tesla, all right? It pretty much is that simple. And so now look, we've seen this continuation of the move to the upside, right? And on the weekly chart, we have this, okay? We have institutional supply at the highs, and we have institutional demand at the lows down here. And look where price is right now, okay? You see how close it is to just breaking through, okay? Do you see how close it is to just breaking through? I mean, it's just a matter of time until it breaks through and continues higher, right? Question, do you have to be a member to access the Bitcoin webinar for tomorrow? I tried to join and got a message saying I have not access to information. No, you can join. Yeah, you can join. Because everybody has access to this page here, to the main page. You just click on it, and that's it. Opens up this registration page, you fill out your information, and that's it. It's that simple. Okay, so yes, you do have access to it. All right, you just got to go to the main website, whiteoakfx.com, click on that, and it works without any issues. Okay, so take a look. You see what's going on here. It's just a matter of time till this breaks, and then we got nice formations to the upside, and then continuation as well. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Some other stocks that I would be on watching for. Let's see, Facebook not looking so good, although it is perking up now. Yep. Tesla. Was Facebook the one we were looking at? I'm not quite sure. Let me see. Amazon. Yeah, these are just getting ready to take off from what I'm seeing. Looks like it's getting ready to take off. Soon is going to be some good trading opportunities. Moderna. How about that? 2,400% increase in Moderna from where the from when the insiders were buying. Okay, let me tell you something here. February 18, 2020. Okay, February 18, 2020. People started buying Moderna stock. Okay. February 24, 2020, they bought incredibly strong. Okay, look how strong that is. Some took price from, $19 up to $35, and they're like, damn, I've pretty much just doubled my money. And then a bunch of them took profits. Okay, this is all in February. Okay. Now do a little bit of research if you want to, but I've already done it, and I can tell you that it was in March that Donald Trump was talking about awarding um, some money to Moderna to do some work on finding or creating a vaccine. Okay, that was in March, right? Mid-March. Here, this red candle. How is it that this was already being bought up like crazy way before that? Even before the President of the United States got to react to what was taking place. It was already a done deal that there was going to be these things being created, right? Somebody knew. I mean, how would you have so much faith in this company? Which, by the way, the vaccine is the only product they've ever created. How funny is that? So, yes, all webinars are recorded, always, and will be made available. So here is what we call an institutional area of demand, otherwise known as an area where the banks and big traders are buying, okay? Huge investors, insiders, people in the know, all right? There's a lot of characters in government right now that are extremely unethical, and they exposed their portfolios to stocks like this with the knowledge that they had, right? They knew what was going to happen and they took advantage of it. How would you like somebody to come up to you and say, hey, see this company? Yeah. Well, there's going to be this situation and they're going to be awarded a massive contract, and they've never created any products, but the first product they're going to create is the one that's going to be used to save the world. Yeah, I know, sounds ridiculous, but anyways. And you can buy it cheap. And they say, well, where's everybody buying it? At what price is everybody buying it at? Oh, good question. They're buying it at around the $20 area. Okay. All right, but right now it's $29. Yeah, don't worry. A lot of people bought and then they took profits when it almost doubled because they got so super excited. But it is going to drop and go back to that area where the buying is located, around the $20 area. And when it gets there, my recommendation is buy this stock. Oh, nice. How long should I hold it for? Just hold it for a few years and don't sell it. And you're welcome. Okay. And, you know, it's just, it's incredible because, you know, if you ever wondered if supply and demand works, well, here it is. Okay. So price dropped exactly down to the $20 area. That was the buying area, okay? And immediately after that, what took place? Price rallied, surpassing the previous highs to around $50, okay? At that point, the banks once again created an area of buying between $50 and $45, okay? Then they rallied price up, and they brought price back down to that area of buying, exactly like they did previously. This time it happened in May 2020. After they dropped price into that area of buying between $50 and $45, guess what they did? They continued to accumulate, all right? And then they started to push price even higher once again, okay? Now they pushed it from the $50 area all the way to the 80s, okay? After that, some people wanted to take profits, so they did. It gapped price down. It dropped price back down, okay? But it dropped price back down to the buying area again, okay? Back to the $50 area. And there was never any intentions for this to continue lower, all right? Because they were just awarded the best contract in the world, pretty much, okay? Make this drug that could hurt people, but don't worry, you're not going to be held responsible for it, you know, and you're backed by the government. I mean, it's a win-win. And plus, they understand what's going on, right? So what they do is they create another area of buying between $100 and $88. This is where the big investors, big banks, big traders are buying. Guess what? After they rally price up, look what they do. They bring price exactly back down to that buying area, and they refill in their orders. More buying from $100. And now they push it up to $170, $180. Okay, remember the initial buy was $20. The initial buy was 20 bucks. Now you're at 180 and you're like, should I be selling? They're like, no, trust me, don't sell. Now's not the time to sell. This is gonna go. Trust me, just be patient, let this sucker go. So a lot of people get shaked out because they're like, well, I don't know, man, this is good, man. Let me just take my $180 from buying it at 20. So you get a lot of people doing that. And it then continues even higher, okay? It goes back up to the 180s, consolidates, some more people take profits, and then they push it even higher, okay? Take it even higher, and then guess what happens? More buying comes into the market. Investors are saying this is going to continue. This is not stopping anytime soon, so let's rebuy this sucker. Between $230 and $214 is the new buying area, okay? And they push, I mean, area, okay? And they push. I mean, it just is incredible, the buying, until $500, pretty much $500, $478 is reached, okay? But remember, the last time where the institutions were buying aggressively was between $234 and $214, okay? And now look what's happening with price. We got those that said, you know what, from $20 to $440, I'm good with that. I'll take my profits. That's a nice return. 2,000% return. Okay, I'll do that. But what we have seen throughout this whole journey, this has only been a year and a half, is the constant theme of big investors coming in, buying, creating buying zones, okay? And then price retracing down to those buying zones, and then price continuing on, right? The last area of buying was between 234 and 217, okay? So you see what's going on here, right? And you see how the supply and demand works perfectly. The supply and demand dynamics of what is happening on the charts is so predictable. So a lot of opportunities to trade the stock market is what I'm seeing. A lot of opportunities. And Amazon, you know, we had mentioned this before. Amazon is the same thing, okay? Amazon is the same thing in terms of the buying coming in from the big investors and then retracing down to areas of demand and then continuing forward. This one, they created some supply, but once they remove that, this sucker will continue even higher. Question, how about the USCAD? What would you like to know about the USCAD? Okay, and Netflix too, okay, Netflix too, same thing. I mean, when you have everybody being stuck at home, what do? Well, watch TV, right? So, I mean, it's pretty much right there in your face. So, you know, the thing is that one thing that's really, really good about knowing what's really going on in the world, okay, like the reality, not what's being told on TV, but the reality, is that since you understand what's really going on in the world, you know what companies are a part of you know, what is taking place in the world, okay? What companies' technology is necessary to facilitate, you know, what the big organizations and big governments want to do with our economies. So all you have to do is locate, you know, those corporations and take a look at their charts and look at and locate where the big institutional buying is, and then wait for price to get down to those areas. I mean, it's pretty easy, okay? It's pretty straightforward. The last area of buying by the big institutions on Netflix is between 590 and 568. So price comes down there. That's where it's likely, very likely going to rally from. Okay? And then where's it going to go? Probably towards the 800s. Low 70s, low 700s, up to the 800s, and so forth. All right? It's the same thing. Look what happened here. It's the same thing. Rallied up, touched, accumulation, breakout from the accumulation, Now entering into new territory. More accumulation here. Likely the same thing. Okay? We can't know 100%, but very, very likely that that is what will take place if it drops down to that area. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. And the S&P 500 is pretty much telling us, get ready for some new momentum. All right? It's pretty clear from those charts. All right. USCAD will go very quickly to USCAD. This one is a short signal. It's working quite well, and we're just on watch for any potential momentum to the upside to exit the other position. Okay, the other portion of the position, and that's it. That's pretty much it. There's not much else to see there. I mean, there are more things to see, but I detail it for members only in the forum. Okay. So that's it, ladies and gents. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. And again, make sure you participate tomorrow. Okay, whiteoakfx.com. Come and click here if you can make it. Register. Afterwards, it will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel for you to view on your own time. Okay, but should be extremely informative. If you're a member, sign up for the level 1 class if you haven't yet. If you're a level 2 member, sign up for the level 2 class, which will be incredible. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gents. There's really not much more to say unless you got a question for me. If you do have a question, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer it. Otherwise, I'll just assume everything is good, and I can let you go. No problem, Francesco. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Looks like everybody is good. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.